Hello, 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 and welcome to the Good Vibes Lifestyle, happening every week on Thursdays around 4 o'clock. So, welcome to the show and happy 2026. As I said last week on New Year's Eve, I would see you next year, and here it is next year. And boy, a lot has happened in the last week. It's been crazy, but I'm so happy to be with you here on this in this one year when you add two and 0 and 2 and 6, 2026 together, it reduces down to a 10, which reduces down to a 1, which is the numerological number for the year, the essence of this year. And we're actually in a new cycle. It goes in 9 year cycles. So this is the beginning. And it's also the year of the fire horse, which actually starts at the Chinese New Year, which is on February 17th. So we're still in last year's energy as far as the Chinese astrology is concerned. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the Chinese astrology. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. And wherever you're watching, you can comment. I'm streaming live right now to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And on these platforms, you can actually comment. I can see your comments and we can have a little dialogue, or you can share your thoughts, ask questions, whatever you would like. And even on the replays, you can do the same. Put your comments in the, um, share your comments. So something new that I'm doing this year is putting these Good Vibe lifestyle episodes on Spotify. So you can actually watch it on Spotify if that's where you like to watch your video podcasts. So where are you watching from? I'd love to know. It's just great because people from all over the world can connect, and that's one of the great things about uh, going live and being on the internet is that I've made since really 2020, when everyone kind of went online with Zooms and everything. I've met so many different people and expanded my um, reach, with people and gotten to know people from all over the world. It's really been a blessing. There's always blessings in whenever there's challenges. And I think that's something that we always should remember. So, uh, let's talk about, and I have a couple of comments. Okay, great. Gary is in Minnesota. Hello, Gary from Minnesota. And Gibson Brown is saying hello. Hello there. So thank you for sharing. It's great to know that people are watching. And wow, we've got about 23 people watching right now. So that's awesome. So I want to share with you a big aha I had over the holidays. And this is about what we consume online. And I kind of got sucked into this Netflix series. It was a documentary. And let me see. Okay. Um, it was a documentary. And I don't even want to say the person's name because whenever, I don't want to give energy to it. But other news that was happening, I just kind of followed this news drama and stuff that was happening. And I got so angry, not just angry, I got hateful. And I don't hate. That's like one thing I just don't do. I'm not about hating at all. But I found myself in this place and I had to pull myself out of that energy. And I was so frustrated because I didn't know, how did I get into this low place? And I was asking spirit, why? What happened? How did I get here? When I woke up the next day, the answer I got was, what wolf are you feeding? The positive one or the negative one? So this was a big aha for me, because I knew about this story, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute. But I really experienced it and I let myself get to this place of negativity. So there's a Native American tradition or teaching that they believe comes from the Cherokee, which is pretty awesome because half the year I live in Murphy, North Carolina, which is in Cherokee County, near Cherokee, the town, where the Trail of Tears is. And this is where the story comes from, this teaching. It's called the Two Wolves Teaching. And this is how it's usually told. An elder tells a child that inside every person, there are two wolves fighting. One wolf represents fear, anger, greed, jealousy, and resentment. Basically, lower vibes. The other represents love, compassion, peace, truth, and hope, what I like to call the good vibes. The child asks, which wolf wins? The elder replies, the one you feed. So I was feeding, and when we're talking about feeding, we're talking about what are we consuming online, on our phones, on our tablets, on our computers. What information are we consuming? Because that determines what frequency we're vibing at. And if it's lower vibe stories and news, which tends to be so negative, even though things are happening in the world and there is chaos, when it's good to know about these things, but when we're constantly feeding those, when we're feeding that negative wolf, puts us in that lower vibration. And you know, this is not where I want to be, and we do have a choice. See, this is the thing: we have a choice. Um, One of the teachers that I like to follow is Master Sri Akarshana. And he just, a quote from him is, what you consume, you become. And what you become, you attract. So we're talking about the law of attraction here and frequency and how we, what we focus on is what we attract to ourselves. This is how the law of attraction works. So this is one of the reasons that I've created the Good Vibes Lifestyle, Good Vibes TV on YouTube, is because as I learn things, I want to share it. I believe that we're all teachers and students, right? At the same time, when we learn something, the best way to learn it is to actually teach it. And I feel like we're always students and teachers. We're always teaching each other. We're always learning from each other, and it's a beautiful dynamic that happens. Um, so let me look. We have a couple more comments. And Debbie Crawl is saying, hi, Leslie, it's Deb. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Debbie. And Gary is saying that hate destroys the hater. Absolutely. Hate is like the worst emotion, one of the worst. They're all bad, not good. And Gary is saying he's part Cherokee. That's so cool. And Gary's also saying, love is the best answer. Absolutely. And I'll share this one too. Thank you. I appreciate that. So let's get on with the show. But yeah, what this Master Shri is saying. Let me find his quote again. Where did it go? There it is. What we consume, we become. What we become, we attract. And this is just so important to know. So let's talk about this year, which is 2026. And last week, Amy Baker had a question about the Chinese astrology. I was explaining how we have the fire horse this year, and she thought or felt that the element of fire was something new that they were including. So I looked it up and I found out some information about Chinese astrology because I'm not a Chinese astrologist by no means, but I want to share what I found out. So, just to start with, though, fire horse years are associated with bold movement, with revolution, and truth telling. Also, courage, independence, and rapid change because of that fire energy. So, the way Chinese astrology works is that there are 12 animals. These are called the earthly branches. There are five elements, which are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And so, if you've done feng shui or studied any Taoist teachings or even done the martial arts, I believe they use these concepts in there also, acupuncture and things like that. And then there's also the aspect of yin and yang. So we've got 12 animals, five elements, and then the yin and yang polarity. Yin and yang, kind of the male and the female energies, receptive energy is the yin. The yang is like forward moving energy. And together, this creates a 60-year cycle that's been used for over 2,000 years in China. So this is how the system works. Each year, we have a different animal. There's 12 animals. And one, and let's see, and also each year we have one of the five elements. Remember the uh, wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And then every 2 years we have a yin or yang excuse me. And we also alternate between the yin and the yang year. So one year is yin, the other is yang. So the elements rotate in a specific order from wood to fire to earth to metal and to water. Each element lasts 2 consecutive years. So you're going to have 2 years of wood, 2 years of fire, 2 years of earth, and so on. And then one will be yin, and then one will be yang. And this is what creates the 60-year cycle. So let me show you here that in 2024, we had the yang wood dragon. And then in 2025, we had the yin wood snake. So this is the 2 year wood cycle. And then in 2026, we have the yang fire horse. And 2027, we're going to have the yin fire goat. And so that's the 2 year fire cycle. So this is one of the reasons why the change or the transition from 2025 to 2026 feels so drastic is because we're not just changing the animals, we're changing both the element and the polarity. The element from wood to fire, and the snake and the animal from snake to horse, and then the polarity from yin to yang. So that's actually a triple energetic shift, which is why this transition feels like internal processing going into external movement. The snake internalizes and the horse mobilizes. Horses are very important animals to the Native American culture. So wood grows very slowly and fire acts quickly. Yin refines and yang expresses. So in classical Chinese thought, the wood feeds the fire. So a healthy fire year depends on how well the wood was cultivated. So 2025 wasn't about doing less, it was about preparing the fuel. So, in summary, the animal changes every year, but the element moves in 2 year waves. 2024 to 25 were wood years, and 2026 to 27 are fire years. We're not skipping steps, we're shifting gears. And again, since the new Chinese astrology, the Chinese New Year doesn't start till February 17th, we still have about 5 weeks or so of making this transition from wood snake to fire horse. And let's see. Oh, Carolyn's here. Beautiful. Carolyn says, fire and horse is spirit moving forward quickly. Excellent. Yes. And Carolyn's one of my mentors. She's taught me so much about Native American spirituality. Love her. Believe she's up north right now. I'm not sure if she's come back down to Florida. All right. So that's a little bit about the Chinese astrology, and I really appreciate Amy for asking that question because that caused me to go down that rabbit hole and get that information and learn it and share it with you guys. So it's really excellent. Let's now move into the Western astrology, which most of us kind of follow here in the United States. So the sun went into the sign of Capricorn on December 21st, and Capricorn energy has to do with structure and traditions and practicality. That's kind of the energy of Capricorn. We also have the moon phase. So we're moving from the full moon to the new moon. And it was a super moon this last Saturday on January 3rd in the sign of Cancer. Where I was, it rained. So whenever there's a full moon or new moon in a water sign, usually there's a water issue happening, whether it's rain or, some kind of weather related to rain. So now we're moving into this new moon on January 18th, also in the sign of Capricorn. So the sun will be in Capricorn and the new moon will be in Capricorn. So this is, this time between the full moon to the new moon is a time of integration, a time of digesting what came to fruition during the full moon. So that's just something to be aware of, and because I'm all about talking about energy and how the energy around us kind of is a reflection, but also can influence us as well, right? Because the way I see it is we're living in this quantum field that really has everything. But in our particular uh, situation, our particular world, we do have this system of astrology and planets and everything that does have an impact on us. So that's the new moon, and new moons are great for starting new things, right? But we're also in the new year already, so we are already starting new things being the first of the year. Now, I'll be talking about this more next week, but the week of January 20th, there are a bunch of planets that are going to be in the sign of Pluto. Specifically on January 23rd, Venus, Mercury, Sun, Mars are all going to be in the sign of Pluto, and then the moon is going to be in Aries. So January 23rd is going to be a very intense day, so just be aware. And then also on the 27th of January, Mars is in Pluto and the moon is conjunct Uranus. Uranus tends to be the planet of surprises and unexpected things. So just be aware. And, if you're planning different things, it's good to know when these dates are so you can plan for certain things. So you want to start new, if you're letting go of weight or letting go of anything like last year's energy, now's the time to do it in the waning phase of the moon. But if you want to start new things, it's great to start those things during the new moon, which again is January 18th. So just make a note of that. The other thing, numerology is another way we decipher the energies. And today is 1-8, and 8 is the number that you draw without lifting your pen from the paper. And it's also the infinity sign if you put it kind of sideways. So 8 is a very auspicious day to do things, especially when it comes to abundance, any kind of prosperity work that you want to do, investments and things like that. Um, and then we have January 11th, the Sunday. And Master Sri Arakarshana is also doing a special teaching on that. He's calling it the 111 portal. So on the 11th of January, so we have one, that's why it's 111, one for January, 11 for the day, and then 2026 reduces to a one as well. So it's actually a 1111 portal. And whenever we have one, not only is it new beginnings, but when we see 1111, that's usually people see it as spirit coming down, right? The 11 kind of channeling that energy, that divine energy down into the earth. And it's a great time to tap into that. So let's talk a little bit, since we're out in the cosmos, about Three Eye Atlas. And it's passed by, the closest aspect it had to the Earth was on December 19th, which was a new moon as well. And it's now heading toward being closest to Jupiter. And that will happen around end of February, around March 11th, I think. Now, what they're saying will happen around that same time is that the tail that this comet from Three Eye Atlas, this tail, we're going to be passing, the Earth will be passing through that tail. So all of whatever's in the tail, that energy will be impacting us. And we don't know how that's going to impact us. But I think I always believe in, and we get what we expect, right? So if we expect good things, that's what we're going to create in our world and bring into our reality. But if we're expecting bad things, that's what or lower vibe things, that's what we're going to get too. So we determine which way, which side of the coin are we going to focus on, because that's what we're going to bring and create in our lives. Let's see. And Lynn's here. Happy New Year, Leslie. Yes, she sees 1111 off, and me too. I love it when I see either 111 or 1111. And I always feel like that's a symbol, or it's a message from spirit or our angels that, everything's going to be okay, or just to tune in to spirit, or just a reminder. It's a symbol. It's communication from the divine. So 1111 is great. All right. So let's see now. Next, I've got on the agenda, that's not really agenda, but UAP and UFO disclosure. So, as you know, I am one of the state coordinators for the Citizens for Disclosure. I tend to be an activist. I think all my life I've been an activist looking for change in society for different things, whether it's, preventing a storage unit facility to be built in a next to residential area, to medical marijuana being passed in Florida, to responding to the BP oil spill and doing and fighting for the environment. So I've always been involved in different things because I don't know, this is who I am. So my latest endeavor is UAP disclosure, and this is specifically disclosure from our government about the UFOs, both the craft and the bodies that they have had since Roswell, or even before, which was like 1947. And I've been going down that rabbit hole, and sharing with people. So our big initiatives this last year was communicating with our Congress people about the UAP Disclosure Act, which didn't pass, but now Representative Eric Burleson has a whole new standalone legislation that Danny Sheehan, who is the new Paradigm Institute president, has helped. He's a constitutional lawyer who's been involved with Iran Contra, Pentagon Papers, and all of these big cases. And he's helping craft this legislation. So we'll be doing a push when Congress gets back, and making phone calls and emailing about this so that they can finally push that disclosure. And I do want to share that if you're interested in being part of this organization, it's free. There's no cost. Just go to newparadigminstitute.org. You can sign up for their newsletter, and you'll get an email directly from Danny every week that updates us on what's happening. And it's something that I think is really important, because we're at that place of evolution in our world, to connect with our star family, our galactic family. The Native Americans call them their star family. They've had many teachings and traditions and connection with um, the star people, or their star family. So it's time for humanity to do that. Now the government's been doing it, and the big controversy is the technology that they've reversed engineered from these craft, and even the ETs that they've communicated with. They've gotten these technologies, but they've used it for nefarious purposes, like war, like trying to be, one up on other countries in terms of using it for war, military aspects, instead of using this technology for bettering the planet, for helping humanity, and all of this. So this is why I'm so passionate about this, because and I've followed Dr. Stephen Greer since '93. He's been petitioning the government and letting people know about what's been going on. So he's got a lot of great movies, and his website's just Dr. Stephen Greer, Dr. and Stephen, Steven, Greer, Greer.com. Go there, tons of information. But the latest information that Danny talked about was that Jacques Vallée, who is, I think, an astrophysicist. He's been with the government and studying this for a long, long time. And one point that he says, he actually was interviewed on Jeremy Corbell's Weaponized podcast, which the tiny URL on the screen here, and I'll put it on in the show notes too, will take you to that Weaponized podcast. And so you can learn, you can listen to the whole episode. But basically what Danny was saying is that Jacques Vallée noted that the recent congressional hearings have relied relied almost exclusively on military and government witnesses, leaving out the civilian experiencers altogether. The result, he argues, is that only one side of the story has been presented, namely the one that filtered through this national security lens. This, in turn, has reinforced fear based narratives rather than encouraging a fuller understanding of the phenomenon. Ballet also raised a cautionary flag about government sourced UFO data. He warned that some leaked information may be deliberately salted with keywords or inaccuracies, allowing intelligence agencies to track how the narratives are being spread. For this reason, he urges researchers to be wary of relying on such material and instead focus on building clean data sets with clear chains of custody. Um, so, uh, so anyway, that's a little bit from the email I got this week from Danny Sheehan. And again, just go to newparadigminstitute.org and you'll be kind of tapped into that information. He's always updating us on what's going on. And I'm going to be doing a series called the Galactic Good Vibes, where I'm going to be interviewing different experiencers, UFO experiencers, not necessarily abductees, but people who have been communicating with these ETs, with our star family, our cosmic cousins, however you want to call it. Um, and I will let you know when those will be available. I'm in the editing process right now. So we don't have any more comments right now. And now being a new year, I've been revamping the show a little bit. And one of the things I want to bring into this is a meditation, a short meditation, kind of like a reset, because I think it's important that we learn how to kind of reset ourselves, because especially this year with this fire horse energy, it's going to be chaotic. There's going to be a lot of things, and I even got sucked into it. Last night I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning again, not only preparing for the show, but what happened in Minnesota, or no, Minneapolis, and what's happening there with ice. And I, I can't even go there. Like I said, what we consume, we become. What we become, we attract. But being in the activist that I am, I know that there's things that we can do physically, take action, but there's also things that we can do spiritually. And one of those spiritual things is meditation, is getting grounded. Um, Before we get into the meditation, I want to say hey to Nefertiti. She says, Happy 2026, my friend, wishing you a sweet and abundant year. Absolutely. Thank you, Nefertiti. And back at it. Same to you, wishing you many wishes. We're in a new book called The Art of Connection Resilience Edition, and that's coming out. The Kindle version will be next week. And I will share more of that next week so that you can buy the Kindle version. But Art of Connection book series, I've been in the Abundance and Gratitude books the last couple of years. They're really excellent. And Nefertiti is one of the other co-authors in that book. They're collaboration books. Okay, so let me get us settled. And I've got some beautiful bamboo music that I'm going to play as we get ready for the short meditation. It's going to be like 5 minutes, but I want us to get into the habit of really kind of dropping into stillness so that we can not get caught up in the chaos that's in the world. Because when we're holding that higher vibration of love, joy, bliss, we're holding it, we're raising the vibration of the whole planet. It's not just us, our energy ripples out. So it is so important. And Lynn is saying, my sleep habits are so off. I would love this meditation. Okay, so here we go. And we're going to be talking about, since we have this transition period from the wood snake to the fire horse on February 17th, each week it's going to be kind of themed along those lines. Okay, so let me pull that up and get comfortable. Now, if you are driving a car or operating heavy equipment, do not do this meditation. This is something that we want to do when we're, in a safe space. So, this is called the gentle unwinding. And before we talk about what's next, it's important to consciously release what's complete. The waning moon supports letting go, not forcefully, but gently. So let's take a few minutes now to unwind what no longer needs to be carried. Begin by bringing your attention to your breath. Inhale slowly through the nose and exhale through the mouth, allowing your shoulders to soften. Again, inhale and exhale, letting the body arrive fully in this moment. As the moon releases the light in the sky, invite yourself to release weight in the body. Notice where you may be holding tension: the jaw, the neck, the belly, the lower back. With each exhale, allow these places to soften. Now bring to mind something from the past year that feels complete. Not wrong, not failed, simply finished. There is no need to analyze it. Just notice how it feels in your body. Imagine this energy loosening its hold, like a snake gently shedding an old skin. Not forced, not dramatic, just natural. And silently affirm, I release what has fulfilled its purpose. Feel the space that this creates. A quiet relief, a subtle lightness. Now rest here for several breaths, allowing the unwinding to complete in its own time. What we release during a waning moon creates space, but that space isn't empty. It's fertile. And that's exactly where we're headed next. So come back. Come back. And how was that for you? Hopefully that was something that helped you get to that inner stillness place, and that within that inner self, that inner place. Last week we talked about the word for 2025 and the new word for 2026. And it's also a time where a lot of people this month like to do vision boards. And I have been doing vision boards for several years now, and they really work. My words I'll share for 2026 are love and blessings. So I want to actually, when I see people, project that out to them: love and blessings, knowing that what I project out comes back to me tenfold and better. So being in that quiet, soft space is so important. All right. So Next, another new thing that I've got for this year, instead of featuring a different oracle every month, I am wanting to talk about different oracle spreads. And each week we're going to do a spread of the week. So this week's spread I will tell you about in a minute. Oh, I had a camera set up, but it's not working. So we're going to use the Psychic Tarot deck, which I've been working with for a little while. And let me tell you about the one card spread. So, one card spreads are great. I like to do a daily card. Whenever you're working with a new Oracle deck, it's really great to just pick as you're getting to know the deck and learn it, just pick a card for guidance for the day. You could have a specific question or any of that. But what's important is, just doing it and use it as a tool. Though, I feel like Oracle decks are just kind of communication tool to tap into the divine. This is a kind of easier way to help, get focused on what spirit wants to tell us. So, so you could do a daily spread. And what I'm going to do every month, we'll do like a one card spread in January, two card spreads in February, three card spreads in March, and all the way up to 10 card spreads because this book only goes up to 10 cards. But there's 101 Oracle spreads that we can do. So this one is called the North Star Spread. So it provides a quick reorientation for your direction and purpose, which can serve as a check-in along your journey. This is a reflection of your inner compass or personal North Star that guides you towards your true path. The spread can be used anytime you need clarity regarding your life's journey and even during those times when you feel lost and need to ask for directions. So it's your path forward. So I'm going to pick a card for all of us and see what we get from Spirit. Ooh, okay. So this card is, I believe it's Five of Swords. I tried to have my camera, separate camera, but anyway. Five of Swords. Let me read to you this card. Wait. Swords rule the mental aspect or mental energy or mental body. And the number 5 mental card represents significant learning and change, and how you handle yourself at this time is vital to your overall well being. This card could relate to a lack of sensitivity in taking action or in response to conditions or situations around you. This need for sensitivity could relate to you or someone else in your life. Even though a battle can be won, it's important to evaluate the cost and pain to both parties. Sometimes it's best to surrender and walk away if no answer or victory can be achieved. Don't assign blame, become deceitful, or set out to get revenge, for this results in the negative energy becoming a part of you. You are being tested on how delicately and gently you take your next step. Remember, everything in your life is an opportunity to learn and grow. So this card, the Five of Swords, usually, represents conflict. And yeah, like I said, there's a lot of conflict. Now, how does this relate to our path forward? I think it's, there are things happening around us in the world. And like I got sucked until 3 o'clock in the morning about what was happening in Minneapolis. Um, we have to, see what is it that we can do and, then do that. but then also hold the vibration, the higher vibrations, because as we have that higher vibration, we're holding it not just for ourselves and radiating that out, it's uplifting everyone else as well. So, which brings us to the spiritual activism that I was talking about earlier. So, yeah, based on what happened last night, my biggest, when it's a political type thing, is going to Congress and writing my Congress people, emailing them. You can go to congress.org and find out who your representatives are. Just put your zip code in there and um, just write them and tell them exactly how you feel. So I was writing to them in response to what I was seeing online that I felt was very wrong. Um, I mean, unforgivable, really. Um, but to abolish ICE is what I was telling them, and to telling my Congress people to do their job. So, and also, sorry for the noise in the background, but my husband doesn't realize how loud he's talking. But one of the things that I did find out also, I follow Malcolm Nance, who's known as the Black Man Spy, and he's very familiar with all of the political things that are happening. And one of the things that he is suggesting for people to do, just like we're, protesting peaceful in the streets, we have that right as Americans, our First Amendment right. He has something called Operation Overpass Takeover. And that basically is writing your protest signs and finding an overpass over a busy highway, and how putting those up there will help influence and wake up our fellow Americans. And it's a peaceful way to protest. And you can actually register your overpass by going to fafopac.org. And so he had that. So I thought that was really good. Besides that, and then the other thing is meditating, just really sending that love and light. Pamela Gregory, as I've told you, shared with you before, every day at 2 o'clock for 15 minutes and love and light to the planet. She's from UK, and this is something that she started a couple of years ago, and I've recommended. So that's those are some things to do. And as we go into meditation, we can get more guidance on what can I do, because when we get so upset over what we see that we know is wrong, we have to do something. When our human family is hurt, we're hurt, right? Or at least this is how I take it. You're my brother, you're my sister, you're my mother, you're my father, you're my child. We're all part of this human family. And I feel responsible, you know, for taking care of us, all of us. I want us all to be blessed. I want all to, have live in the good vibe zone. So, one thing I want to talk about next is something that we can do. It's a new positive social media app that was created by Master Shri Akarshana, and it's called Karma League. And so I just got on there, and he does not allow any negativity on this site. You get booted off. It's still in the beta stages, but it is available. So this is some place that you can check out, and just go to your app store on your phone, whether you have iPhone or Android, and just type in Karma League, and you can, register and then follow me. It's just under Leslie Klein. I didn't sign up as Good Vibes TV, just Leslie Klein. All right, and now we're wrapping up. So finally, tip of the week to raise your vibration. Last week's tip was to do a burning bowl ritual to release 2025. And you could do a burning bowl ritual anytime. And write down what it is you want to release, put it in the fire, release it to the universe. What's great about rituals is that we're spiritual beings, but we're in a physical body. And rituals are kind of like active prayers. So how I see them. So this week's tip for the week to raise your vibration is to practice a news fast for at least 1 week a month. 1 week, no news. Don't follow it on social media. Don't watch it on television. Don't read it in the paper, just do a news fast. And again, that ties into as we, what we consume, we become, what we become, we attract. So see what happens. I did a water fast about a month ago. No, was it November with my sister? And I didn't think I could do it, but I did it. So fasting is a great way to reset the body. And anyway, I that's the tip of the week to raise your vibration. So practice and use fast, and let me know in the comments how you like that and how it worked for you. All right, my friends. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Um, send this out to someone who needs a boost of good vibes, or if there's something in here that you thought was particularly helpful, please share it out so that we can lift and raise the vibration of everyone on the planet. We all make a difference. One candlelight in a room lights up the whole room. So when there's so much darkness out there, this is our cue to shine our light. And that's what this is all about. So thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Peace out and have a beautiful week.